I really like that fade out that they did on that last video. Softer lead in than it used to be. So everyone, we are very excited today. Of course, I'm going to go around and introduce. I am Jeff Fuller from Fuller Embroidery Works. We have Jerry Lee from Jerry Lee Medeiros, Sunfacer Manufacturing. And today we have a special guest. It is Alnoor. I'm not going to pronounce your last name because I'll get it wrong.
Remtullah.
There you go. Yes.
Remtullah from TWIGA Industries up in Canada. And we're really, really excited to do an interview with him today. Alnoor has over 40 years of experience, or about 40 years of experience. We'll figure that out later. And he owns and operates TWIGA. And is it just TWIGA, or does that stand for something?
Sorry, is it TWIGA? Yes, it's TWIGA Industries, yes.
TWIGA Industries, okay. And he distributes ZSK machines in Canada, as well as services machines and sells products at his store. So we're very thankful that we could have you here today. And we will go ahead and pull up just a few comments here to let us know people are watching. We have Heather from Scotland. Hello.
Thank you for being here.
We have Cindy King from Texas. I know where she lives. Thank you for being here. We have Marianne Barnes from
Tightwad,
Missouri, I guess. That's actually a place.
That's actually Missouri.
We have Letty here from Walking with Creation. We have Jerry Lee in the comments.
From somewhere.
Yep. And Cindy says, hi, Jerry Lee, Jeff, and Alnoor.
So I have a question. Right.
I'm ready.
Okay. And Jeff alluded to it when he said, what is it? TWIGA? Does that stand for something? TWIGA Industries. Where did that name come from? I'm curious about that and your logo because it's unique. And so I'd like to know.
Yes. So TWIGA, I was born in Africa.
Okay.
So TWIGA is a name for giraffe.
Yes, that's why you have the giraffe.
Giraffe, exactly, yes. So TWIGA is giraffe in Swahili. So I was born, we're obviously ancestry is somewhere in India, God knows where. But we were born 4 generations in Africa, me, my father, grandfather, great-grandfather.
Wow.
So 1800 something, somebody moved to Africa. So I know more about Africa than I would know about my ancestry would be.
Wow.
India or something, yes.
When did you go to Canada?
I moved to Canada in 1980.
Okay. And then you opened your ZSK and you brought your homeland with TWIGA.
No, not then. We got the distributor for ZSK in 2017.
Nice. Oh.
It's just about 5 years ago. Yes.
I'll be darned. Okay.
So when did you found TWIGA Industries?
So 2010 is when we found TWIGA.
Okay.
And that was because before that I used to work with a company servicing Tajima machines. They're the Tajima distributors. And they were known as TWIGA Industries.
Yes.
Yes. And then we moved to, in 2010, I got an opportunity to become a distributor for ESP machines in Canada. When Toyota had dropped it and Tajima bought over the manufacturing of the machines. So in 2010, I started the company name with TWIGA. Yes.
That's a lot younger than I thought it was. I thought it was going to be, in the 1970s, roughly, that you started TWIGA Industries.
Oh, it's really cool.
Yes, I used to operate under the name of ETS, as in Embroidery Technical Services.
Okay.
But it was okay, that name was okay if I worked within a province.
Right.
But because I had to now move as a Canadian distributor, there are many companies which had the similar name, which is ETS. So I had to change a name, and the best name I could find was TWIGA.
I really like it. It's very different. It's very unique. And I've always wondered why, A, it was called that, and B, you had a giraffe. I mean, that's really just so cool. So TWIGA is the African word for giraffe.
Giraffe, exactly.
That's freaking cool.
Gracefulness of the giraffe, and also it's the head above the rest. was the
symbolism.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
That's
Thank
pretty
you.
cool.
That is.
It's
cool.
neat to see what people put into their company names and logos sometimes, and that's
Yeah.
I would have not guessed that, but it's really, really cool to learn the history behind that.
Yeah, that is. You want to grab some?
I know, I'm following behind. We've got Cindy saying, hi, Jerry Lee. Oh, that's where I left off. VOY, FYI. Lots of acronyms. We have Mike Muldowney. We have Mike Henry from Calgary.
Yep.
Letty, I see some of my favorite alphabet letters behind him on the wall. We have Suzanne, hi, from Newport, Rhode Island.
Yay, Maryland.
We have James from Maryland. Thanks for making great content. You're absolutely welcome.
Journess.
And we'll skip over Amy's comments because she's my sister, and we'll just skip over those.
That's his sister, and we will not. And
I'll bring up. We have Amy that says hello, and that's such a clever name and meaning, and it really is. So
it really is. I like that. I like to know. I'm just really a very, very curious person, and I ask a ton of questions because I honestly just want to know. So
absolutely.
This one just really. Okay, I know I'm being effusive, but this answer really satisfied. It was like a lot deeper with a lot more meaning behind it than I would have ever in a million years guessed. Yep. So let's get on to the rest of this interview. If that's the start, man, let's go.
So I am very, very curious because I started I got into the embroidery industry kind of in a weird way, and I don't think anybody really plans on being in the embroidery industry. So what brought you into this industry?
All right. So my beginning was I used to work at the shirt factory back home in Africa. So we used to manufacture shirts, but I was in the technical department servicing the machines.
Okay.
And from there, I got an opportunity. That was in 1977. I got an opportunity to go to Germany at the Pfaff factory to learn on industrial machines, high-speed machines, automatic, pneumatic machines in Germany. So I took that opportunity, and then I went back to Africa, worked there for about 3 years, and then moved to Canada. And in Canada, when I moved in 1980, the economy was not the greatest. The interest rates at that time was, I think, in the vicinity of 18, 20%.
Ouch.
1980s, yes. And I moved to Alberta, the oil part of the country, and there were no jobs available at that time. So I had to go back and study. So I studied electronics and computers, and there were no jobs available even in that field. So I had to move from Alberta to Ontario. And in Ontario, I was then able to combine the two fields together of computers and electronics and the machine. And that's what puts me apart from others, is because I have the combination of the two skills.
You do. And that is very unusual because usually a tech can't cross over. They can't make that crossover from home to industrial and vice versa. So you're at both spectrums. That's really nice for the people that are in your area. Very sweet.
So that helps a lot. Yes. Understanding the issue, and also being able to assist customers on what is happening and why it's happening. Yes.
Yeah, that's like really nice coverage.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So do you still do technical service then yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I
like that.
So I'm usually on the road a lot. I don't have many technical people under me as yet. We are in process of hiring, but because of the COVID, we do not have the luxury to do that. Yes, but I'm looking for staff whom I can train, and they would be able to go out. Yes.
That's tough too.
Okay. Well, I was pre-asked some questions, and I told Alnoor this ahead of time. I might have read him the questions so he had a little bit of time to think about them. But I'll go ahead and pull those out. And this one's from Mike Muldowney, and he asks, regarding older equipment, and for him, it's specifically the TME-HCs.
Yes.
aside from if it ain't broke, don't fix it, at what point is an older multi-head really hamstringing you? Or so long as it's stitching, keep on running it?
So TME HC, H series machine have been discontinued. So the electronic parts are no longer available.
Mhm.
So if it is still working and you have a good value, you might want to sell it. That would be my advice.
To whom?
On the other, that's a question, right? Or use it right, squeeze it right to the end, and if the parts are available, then fine. Like if you can acquire the parts, that's nice. Otherwise, you know that the parts are no longer available.
Who are you selling it to?
So what can happen is many people would buy the machine who would dismantle the machine and carry the parts only.
Okay.
They can supply it to others who make.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's either sell it and struggle to get parts, or sell it to somebody who will turn it into parts and help other people who are trying to keep theirs going while you get into something
Run
more.
it until it drops.
Yes, yes.
And then salvage the parts that still work.
Exactly. So some electronic parts may be useful, right? Or mechanical parts, yes. But mechanical parts, I understand they are still available, except for the electronics.
Yes.
Very, very difficult to get. Yes.
Do you have board repair people up there? Because I know that we have like a few here, but they're very far and few between. And if you can find a good board repair person, that person is gold.
Yes.
So do you have that option up there to repair such boards?
Yes, I do have one person here who I constantly go to, but otherwise my boards would go to US and then to you guys in America to get them fixed, and then they're shipped back. The biggest issue is testing the boards after they come back.
Oh yes, that's another thing. You have to have the machinery to be able to test the board in. Yes, exactly. There's that. Huh. Okay, cool.
So Mike asks another question. How old is too old for trade-in value?
How long?
So discontinuation of the machine is where I would put my marker.
Okay.
So do you not take that? If that bit is discontinued, if it's a discontinued model, can I trade that in with you?
Yes, you can. And I have dismantled so many machines just to keep the parts. Yes.
Oh, I see. So that's an option.
In my conscience, I would not be able to sell it to somebody or if it was still in good shape, I would tell them that this is discontinued and put my cards on the table and say there is no warranty as is or whatever. Yes.
That's really cool. Right. So I like that it's still an option, because other companies might have a different opinion, and it's really nice when you're not just blocked. Like, we will not buy or take in a used machine when somebody's trying to upgrade. This is really sweet. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And Mike is most definitely in Canada. So Mike, send Alnoor an email, and you can ask him all the questions on trading a model in.
Speaking of Alnoor, what is your contact information? I know it's early on in the broadcast, but if somebody wants to contact you up there in Ontario, Canada, or anywhere in Canada, how can they reach you?
Email would be the best way.
And that address is?
It's Alnoor, my first name, at TWIGA, TWIGA, IND for industry.com.
Okay, I think we're going to have that popped up.
Sure, thank you.
Boom, it's popped. Well, it's in the chat. So for those of you that are in the chat, there you go. It's there. And
thank you. Awesome.
That is very, very awesome. So I guess the next question that I have was actually asked by Letty, and it says, what was your worst embroidery nightmare?
Embroidery machine nightmare?
I think so.
She didn't specify.
Yes. I went to service a customer, and while I was servicing, the machine was dusty or whatever, so the operator decided to vacuum the machine while I was servicing on the top. She opened the box underneath and put a metal vacuum cleaner inside the circuit board.
Oh,
Yes. And the sparks were flying. From a $200 service call, yeah, it ended up being over $2,000. Yes.
oh my gosh.
Those
Did she
boards
keep
are
her
really
job?
expensive.
Yes.
She kept her job?
I don't know.
She
That's
wasn't there when he went back. No, I'm just kidding.
They had a different operator on that particular machine.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Awesome.
That would be the nightmare that I've seen, and it just now when I go to customers, if I'm doing something, you can watch me do what I'm doing. You can learn from me
Over there,
but
right?
don't do something that is not required right now, because you can put somebody's life in danger. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, she could have electrocuted everybody somehow without meaning to, but gee whiz. Really?
I mean, it would have been a shocking experience.
That wouldn't have that though. That would have been extremely. Oh, here we've got a question. Another question from Letty. Oh, that's her tip. Plastic.
Yes,
Always use plastic hoses and pipes on your vacuum machine and make sure it's turned off.
And you're on the
The
machine.
embroidery machine, not the vacuum.
Turned off, unplugged, circuit breakers shut down, all of them.
No tech trying to help it in any way. No service call occurring right now. So yeah,
Lockout, tag out, all that stuff.
Great.
All right, so I'm going to fire this one off. What is the best aftermarket product you have ever used?
Oh, that's
aftermarket product.
That's a great question.
I have designed bobbins that I use. These are not sold by the manufacturers, but it's an aftermarket, but manufactured by the same companies, the same company that makes the bobbin cases. So that would be one item that I sell.
I'd like to talk to you later.
Sure.
Oh, that's my next question. My next question is going to be about bobbin cases. So
yeah, because I'm real curious about that. Jeff mentioned that, and I was like, I would like to talk to you about that.
Yeah. So I have it here. I don't know if you can see it, but it might be too small. So this is a bobbin case made by TWIGA.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does not have a pigtail.
Correct. Okay. Why do you prefer no
pigtail? So what happens is, excuse me, the picker on the machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the picker is supposed to go in at the bobbin. And what happens is, if it is misaligned or misadjusted, because it's not supposed to go all the way in to touch the bobbin case, it's to touch the bobbin. But many times it is misaligned, or if there was a bird's nest and somebody has yanked it, then it gets misaligned and it ends up touching the pigtail, and therefore the pigtail moves inwards and causes obstruction to the cycle, the stitch cycle.
Right.
And therefore causes a problem. So this was one of the reasons why I designed it, so there is no pigtail. And even if the picker does touch, it will not damage anything.
Does that have anything to do, like, do you have to reset your hook timing in any way? Is there any adjustment?
Absolutely nothing.
Only thing was tension, though. How about talk to me about the tension, because that's what that pigtail is for. So where is the tension happening on this particular bobbin case? Is it under the spring?
There's absolutely no difference. The spring is the same, only that the area of the pigtail is removed and there is a opening there. That's it.
Okay, so basically the pigtail then is like, I know that it's gone, but it's not going to offer any, it hasn't been offering any resistance anyway. So it was always just a guide, right?
Exactly. Yes, it's just a guide.
Okay, so that's absolutely not going to, okay, great. Okay, so Mike Henry says this. He says the TWIGA bobbin case is incredible, and it's all we use. So I'd like to know more about this because I personally have not seen that myself. Okay, so I would like to get my hands on that. Jeff, have you ever used that in yours?
I haven't. I've looked at them because Madeira USA carries them. but my machine doesn't. It doesn't have a pigtail. It's got it's like a U loop.
Opening, yes, yeah.
And so
okay.
I am not sure if that would drop in as a replacement or if it would cause issues, because on some machines, I believe the ZSK, it's pickerless, so it doesn't have a pigtail or anything at all there. And I don't know if that, you know, interferes with the way the machine runs. And that was going to be my next question for Alnoor.
So this here will not fit in the ZSK machine, no.
Okay.
So
what does it fit in?
All L size machines.
Can you make one to fit in a ZSK?
No, but ZSK already has one without the pigtail anyways.
Oh, so it doesn't need one. So this is an aftermarket product for the machines that still run with that pigtail.
L style machines, yes, absolutely.
I see. Okay. Cool.
And Letty says, I'm going to have to try it on my MN1000, but not sure it would make a difference in the ZSK. But as you said, it doesn't fit in the ZSK, so don't put it in there.
No, don't, because the ledge, the ledge ends up staying loose on a ZSK, and then it gets caught. Because the size of the bobbin on a ZSK versus all other L, the bobbin case or the bobbin size on a ZSK is slightly bigger by 1 millimeter.
So she's verifying just the MN1000, and now Suzanne is saying she's going to try it on her Baradins.
Absolutely, it will work. Baradins will work fine, yes.
Great. Okay.
Baradin, yes.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, cool. Oh, that's so cool that you did that. So did you patent that up there?
No, the cost of doing a patent was very high, so.
So it just is.
I just have an agreement with TWIGA that they would sell it through us, and they're manufactured by TWIGA in Japan. It's the same company that makes the original bobbin cases for all other brands. Yes,
that's just really, really cool. So does anybody? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
What inspired you to make that change?
So there were some models of Tajima brand that were constantly breaking. Every time I went to a customer, the pigtail would be broken or bent, and that is what inspired me to redesign this. Yes.
Okay. Cool. Well, we have a technical question from Cindy King on the ZSK. How do you keep it from scarring the bill on a cap?
Well, do you not have a cap guard, Cindy? If not, put one on.
Yeah, there is that cap guard on the cap, yes, and it keeps it away. Yes.
So do you not, Cindy, do you have a cap guard? Because for a while, I know ZSK was not putting them on because I know that they didn't feel it was necessary. And then after a conversation, they started putting them on. So do you have one? If you don't, get a cap guard.
Yes.
That's the little metal piece that grabs onto the brim and keeps it bent, right?
Exactly, keeps it at an angle. And there are a number of advantages to it, because if you look at the machines that do not have that, so when the machine reaches and it touches the back of the machine arm, you would see the flexing and the cap would move up and down, and therefore you get needle breaks and uneven stitching. So once it's stable, then it's much better. So I like the cap frame from a ZSK machine. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so maybe she'll tell us if she has one. So so Letty says she was always afraid of her pigtail breaking off, and Tracy says that she ran Tajimas that never had pigtails. We have a question here. Is there a bobbin case for a Coma MT1501?
So it's the same bobbin case will work. Absolutely.
Okay, great. That's great. Okay, what's Mike say? I wish I didn't have to bout, but I'm going to have to catch a replay. Bob, Mr.
That's the great part of it being recorded, is you can always catch it later.
Yes, on several places. And Tracy, they always broke them off. They ran better without the pigtails, which is true. You know, you can take those off and it's just dandy. So
the idea of a pigtail is so that the thread stays under the knife after the trim, so that when it starts the next cycle after the trim, the thread is right there to be grabbed for the next cycle. Otherwise, if the thread is sitting somewhere else, you may miss a couple of stitches. And especially those are important because they could be the tie down stitches for you.
Yes, and you know what? On a lot of machines, they do miss. Like you'll like when it starts, if you know, people will notice that it goes dun 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 dun, dun, and that's because it's locking in those first few stitches. It's set to do that, to run slow at first, but a lot of times those first one or second stitch is missed completely because it's trying to find its way. So I can see how that pigtail being gone is really good.
No, so yes, so without the pigtail, so the thread is always after the trim sitting under the knife, ready for the next cycle.
Yeah, right. Yes. It's like trapped between the knife blades after it's trimmed and been pulled back by the upper thread hook. It's trapped between those knife blades, squished. As whereas with the pigtail, sometimes it can kind of rebound a little bit and yank it out, and that's where it's missing stitch 1 and 2. Yeah, interesting.
I understand what you guys are talking about completely.
He didn't understand that. Okay, so with
no, I did. I actually I had a sewing machine technician here fixing the under trimmer on the double needle, and he explained all that to me, and I was like, huh, I never knew.
Well, so there's a small foil. There's a foil piece underneath that holds it very lightly.
Yeah, people don't know that thread is held up to where it needs to be, so it's trapped there. Otherwise, it's going to leave. It's by tension. It's by the force of being in there in an area that's just a little bit smaller than that thread, so it's kind of squished. Yeah.
So Suzanne asks, so is it called New Slide Guide?
What's that?
The bobbin case.
Yes, so Madeira calls it as a new slide guide, yes.
New slide guide, okay.
Or something similar, yes. And we here in Canada call it bobbin case without pigtail.
That's so much more descriptive. New slide guide. I'm like, what is a new slide guide? I was like, thinking, is this a ruler? I was like, what's a new slide guide?
So you primarily came from the technician background. Have you ever worked in a shop doing embroidery or just done embroidery for fun?
No, I would be the worst embroiderer. I would make lots of mistakes.
Why is that? What do you mean by that?
I have no experience. I know the theory. I know how it works, but doing it myself, I think the operators would be faster than me.
So do you ever not? Okay, so basically you're not the dude who goes in, loads the design for a polo that you'd like to wear later today to a fancy meeting and says, hey, let's run this thing. Hey.
I have made mistakes. Yes, I've tried to do something for my son, and he says, "You ruined my shirt." So.
Well, you can't do it all. You do home machines, industrial machines. You can't stitch too, Alnoor. You got to leave something for somebody else.
Exactly. So I rely, when I go to a customer, when it's production time, I rely on the operators to do that. And I say, you have more expertise than I have. I know how to fix the machine, but you guys can run the machine. Yes.
Well, now I got to throw out my next 5 questions. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, we got comments, though. One moment.
Yep.
Barb says, hey, good evening, Barb, Minnesota. Okay, it's in her cart. Okay, we got a shopper. We've got a shopper among us. I can't get to my cart that fast. Okay. Oh, look at this.
My Baradun will run hats better if I take my thread out of the pigtail on 3 of my heads. Never thought of that.
Huh, so take it out of all of them and see how that goes.
It's possible. So believe it or not, my next question I had lined up was, what was your most memorable stitch out and why?
No, so if you ask me what stitch out did I admire the most?
No, what was your most memorable?
What was yours? But then you said I don't do embroidery.
No, I don't.
One shirt.
Exactly, the ruined shirt, yes.
So Cindy says, all my cap drivers have the guard. Some people have mentioned putting plastic tubing on the U-shaped metal piece on the machine. I know that sounds complicated, just wondering. I believe she's talking about the brim scraping against the back of the head.
It sounds like it's damaging, that is actually marking the hats is what it sounds like to me. And if that's the case, that's a problem, because that's a difficult workaround when you've got marking on the hat brims. Is that what's happening? Because if so, let's figure that out, Cindy.
So I've seen ZSK machines with the plastic tubing in there to prevent the rubbing.
So like over it?
There's a U guard, a very small U guard underneath. So they would put the plastic tubing on the U guard.
Okay, so that's what she's talking about. Okay, so Cindy, do you have access to one of those? If so, then you need to get that, because that's what Alnoor is saying will work.
Because I know on some machines, they, painter's tape across the bill so that it glides a little bit better and it doesn't grab on the fabric of the hat.
Yeah,
because I've seen that as a workaround, but not on a ZSK. I haven't seen that as a workaround, but I know that.
I would get that.
The disadvantage of doing that is because of the upper thread hook comes in and out. If the tape is obstructing the hook, then the hook will not be able to come out.
Correct, and then you won't have any trims, and it's no fun at all.
No. Just no trims. That's okay. So Eric says that's the way I do it. As a tech or digitizer, you can often trade with an operator for their work.
Absolutely.
And he says, and I was an operator once upon a time. So
I heard it was a digitizer.
One of each.
One of each. He's like, some of this, some of that. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I know. His work's been on TV.
I have a question.
What is it?
Let's say that that I came to you to buy a machine today.
Yes.
What parts would you recommend for me to have on hand versus if my machine broke down and I would need to order something? So what do you recommend that people actually stock with their machines to minimize downtime?
So with the machines that we sell here in Canada,
yep,
we do provide a small parts kit.
What's in it?
So we have a rotary hook. We have I think the drive belts have been discontinued because they last a very long time. There are some presser foot, many screws in there. Springs are provided in the machine.
What about a reciprocator?
Reciprocator. So the ZSK calls it a clinker.
That's right. They call it a clinker. Oh my God, I have laughed at. I'm sorry. I shouldn't. I have actually had fun at that expense. A clinker. Okay, yes, that's right. So, do you include a clinker?
A clinker is not included with the machine, but yes, it doesn't hurt to carry one. The only thing is that is only if you're making you do not trace the design initially, or you've made a mistake, and mostly it happens because it's an operator error, not because the machine itself.
Right. So you send things that are not operator error oriented. You send things that are machine very specific to the machine that could be an issue for that, like the extra screws or this or the that or the this or the that, right? Okay.
Possibility of stripping the screws is high because if you're using the wrong screwdriver or things like that. So those things are provided. There's a whole list of what comes with the machine. Yes.
Okay. So if I was a very poor operator, would you recommend having a reciprocator on hand or any like needle bar blocks?
A reciprocator would be something that I would recommend. Yes. Again, the clinker on a ZSK machine is it's made out of steel. It's not plastic.
Well, that's one of the few because most of them are plastic.
So it is very forgiving when you hit the frame. I've seen a 6-head machine hit a frame at a very high speed, and yet nothing would have happened. So it is forgiving, but to a certain extent, right? There's a limitation of what it can happen. Yes.
I mean, there's always a point that's designed to fail that's made to be replaced, and so, is that still the case on the ZSK machines that you carry? Is the clinker the designed fail point if they hit something very hard?
It's a sacrificial part, yes, so that something else doesn't get damaged. Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Got it. I mean, it would be nice if they put it somewhere easier to get to.
I agree, because you can really muck it up, but that reciprocators are generally in the other brands I know from my past experience that they're made out of plastic so that they will break, so that the needle bar doesn't bend, or you don't kill the entire machine by really screwing up. But I like the fact that ZSK doesn't, it just keeps going usually. I like that.
I mean, I like that you send a rotary hook. That's a lot of people don't know that they should have a spare one, and I think I think mine was like $60, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
They're not the cheapest part, but you know, I have a reciprocator on my shelf. If that ever breaks, I'm down a day instead of down however many days it takes for somebody to get me the replacement part.
Yeah, and same with that hook.
Yeah. And amongst the reasons for the hook to get damaged, I've seen is obviously if you have not tightened your needle properly and the needle drops into the hook in a wrong place, then it can score or scratch.
Yeah.
The majority of my experience is whenever there is a bird's nest and on the machine, and the operators would go with the knife at an angle or with the scissors at an angle, and they are scratching the rotary hook.
Yes, they're putting a nick on that.
Yes. So instead of going straight up and cutting, they are going like this and scratching the rotary hook. Then that, I would say, that was the most common problem that I've seen. And what happens after that is this: it doesn't pick up bobbins, or it's breaking thread. And
exactly.
Both are related to the same thing. Yes.
Yeah, because it's continually nicking the thread. It can't pick up something that it's cutting because it's got a nick. Yeah.
And I can tell right away that that is what had happened. So I usually ask them what happened before this issue happened.
Yes. Nothing. It's always nothing. I didn't do anything. The reciprocator broke on its own. Bird nest never happened.
I wasn't here. I didn't do it.
I definitely put the bobbin case back in the machine before I hit the start button. No question.
My funniest situation was I was training somebody to oil the machine, to lubricate the machine. And as you know, on a Tajima, the best spot is around 7 or 8 o'clock there, where you can oil the rotary hook. And I told this operator, I said, you must oil here at 7 o'clock. And she says, but I'm never here at 7 o'clock.
Well, oh dear. How long did it take her to figure it out, or did you have to explain this?
I think everybody was laughing, so she got it then.
Well, you know, one time Matthew was somewhere else. He was on deployment somewhere, and he was in a different time zone ahead of us. And I asked this crazy, stupid question. I was like, well, then you already knew this. And he's like, what? And I'm like, you know, then I felt like, what's her name? Jessica Simpson, who wanted to know if Chicken of the Sea was actually a chicken. And I'm like, you know, so I understand the operator's pain. I really do. Yeah, I get it.
All right. So I'm going to grab a couple of comments here. So Letty says, and it all comes in a handy little toolbox.
Yep.
We have Eric who says, definitely didn't install the main shaft with a wad of thread. Never happened.
Right. And that Celtic design that he was doing for his bride and a ceremonial dance under the moon. Like that had 38,000 stitches.
And we have Cindy. It is just on a full front logo. I have tried tape, but it rubs the tape into the bill. I put a piece of quilt batting on each cap. More work. I
think you need to get that guard.
This would help a lot. Yes.
So do you recommend like PTFE or foam core?
It's a tubing. It's like the
aquarium pump.
Like a hose. Yes, exactly. So, yes, very much. You just slide it in there and it works. Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
That's
cool.
Easy. Run down
to get aquarium pumps.
Yeah. Or go down to your hardware store and get some tubing.
Yes. Or for the humidifier. I don't know if you guys use humidifiers or whatever. Same idea.
Oh, my 3D printer. I could just send her a piece of that.
There you go. No, we don't. We try to get the water out of the air here. We don't try to put it in.
It kind of depends on where you live. You know, He lives in tornado land, so
yeah.
I live in snow.
All right. So, if you had somebody come to you with technician ambitions, where would you point them to go and learn?
So there is no school per se. So hands-on apprentice would be the best way because you are learning different things.
Yep.
Because even if you go to school, you are taught the theory, but the real world is completely different. So you're better off starting as an apprentice, shadowing somebody and learning from there. I think that would be the best way to learn.
So they'd go with you onto job sites.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, now you sparked a really fun question.
Okay.
In school, you said in school you learn the theory, but in the real world, it's completely different.
Yes.
So what has been, because you went to school for electronics?
Yes.
And you also did sewing. Did you go to school for sewing machines?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what has been the most drastic thing that they taught you the theory in school versus what you've seen in the real world?
Ouch, that hurts my brain.
There is very little there is very little application of what you learn in school. In school you would, like if you are in electronics, you would learn how to use the multimeter. But when you're in the field, yes, that multimeter skill comes in handy, but where to measure and when to measure is completely different from what they've taught you at the school.
There's no embroidery. There's a huge lack of embroidery training anywhere that I know of in the world. There's no school here in the United States, and there's not one up there. It is basically from my background and my experience, it's basically a technician finding someone who has what it takes to be a technician, who is passionate enough and concentrating enough and can stick with that, who also doesn't mind traveling. I mean, it takes those things, and that who really wants to make the machine go. It seems to take a passion for that. I think it'd be great if there was somewhere people could go learn something, but that's a hard challenge to solve.
We are lacking, including, I don't know if you have any schools for operators over there. We don't have schools for operators either.
No, we don't have anything.
Embroidery is definitely one of those. It's still traditional master apprentice type setups that really, I mean, nowadays it seems like everything has a school, a class, something that you can go to at a formal university or a technical college, and embroidery is just kind of still sitting outside of that, which
for some reason. Well, you know, Michael Savoya tried to bring that into Rhode Island, into the Rhode Island School of Design. RISD is the acronym, RISD. And they do actually have an embroidery department and a digitizing department because of his efforts. And it's still taught there today. This was many years ago. He's widely traveled, been over to Europe several times. He graduated from RISD, so on and so forth. And, you know, it never grew past that. It just never grew. It's like, I don't know why we don't have that somewhere. I don't know what it is about our country that we just don't do it. But I mean, like in Europe, it's like really a big deal. You know, there's like apprentices, and it's like got history, and it's got all this dimension, and the, like, for instance, the cording and the sequence and stuff. But, you know, it's like so much more. And here it's like really, you fly by the seat of your pants, or you find a group or somebody who's willing to help you out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's YouTube.
Yeah, only if you can trust it, right? That's the biggest problem. Yes.
That's what I've found is a lot of the information. There's a lot of information out there, but whether or not it's reputable information or factual information is very hard to decipher between.
That is true.
So for example, in ZSK, they have their own YouTube channel, so you know what they are producing is from the factory.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Mike agrees. The biggest part of the problem is the internet.
Mine too.
Yes.
Sometimes.
The internet told me it doesn't need oil. It comes with it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It oils itself, doesn't it?
Exactly. That's how it works, right?
Hang on here.
Okay.
Suzanne says that there's some technical high schools in Massachusetts that offer embroidery.
Oh,
That's cool. Okay, I did not know that. So that's just all right. That's all right. I like that.
They
Good.
offer 2 classes here at the university, but it's
What
they use
kind?
PR 800 or PR flatbed home machines,
yes.
Oh, okay.
and they don't like teach placement or anything. It's part of their textiles degree.
Oh, I
So I
see.
think they just try to fold it in with, we're going to show you that this exists and how to kind of do it.
Okay. Interesting.
So one of the things I've always wondered is, what is your favorite part about this industry and being in this industry and doing what you do?
I enjoy because every time I go to a customer, I may encounter a different situation. Many times it's the same, but I may encounter different situation, and also meeting people and then talking to them. So when I go for service, I not only service the machine and walk away, I would talk to the customer, explain to them many things. And I've never shied from teaching the customer of what is happening there. Now, small issues, I want the customer themselves to fix. If it's a bigger issue, then they can call me. But I want them to be self-sufficient because the downtime is important to me. So I enjoy doing that personally.
Okay. So we've had 2 comments come in about vask.tech. So
What that is.
I'm not quite sure what that is. So we'll definitely find out what that is later, I'm sure.
VASF.tech. What is that?
Might be a school.
That might, yeah, that's
Oh,
what I'm thinking is it might be a
okay.
school.
Okay.
So let me catch up here on the comments. We have Mike, and nobody wants to spend the money. I mean, I know it amazes me sometimes what people try to save money on after spending $16,000 to $20,000
I know.
on buying an embroidery machine. It's like,
okay. That's what
okay.
I wondered. Okay.
There
How
we
do
go.
we?
We've hit the popularity level that we get spam comments. That's a new one. We haven't gotten those before. So there you go. Go ahead and bring that back down. So do you ever, you said that you train your customers while you're at their location. Do you ever have them come to your location? Do you ever offer like training classes at your location where you teach? And
if they want to, yes, but I prefer, because of the model of the machine may be different. So it is better to teach them at their location. So I would teach them at their place. So if they do request that they want to learn, then yes, I would provide them the training.
okay.
Yes. And because of the COVID, we have not invited any technicians from ZSK to come here to do a group training on the new machines as yet. So hopefully in a year or so, once this COVID situation is over, then we will be inviting the chief technicians from ZSK to come and conduct a training class, maybe for 2-3 days. Yeah.
So you're mainly a tech, from what I'm gathering. You run a big company, but you're also a technician. How have you had to pivot since the pandemic started?
So my skills or my experience is ability to fix a machine over the video. So I can go on to a customer, or rather I'll tell a customer, whatever video you have, if you have Skype, if you have YouTube, if you're a messenger, whatever you have, FaceTime, let's go on FaceTime or whatever, and I will be able to show you how to fix this issue. And I've been able to do that. So I can be at a customer from coast to coast and be able to do that. Yes.
Okay. And you provide machines for the entire
Canada.
All of Canada is your territory, essentially.
Yes.
Okay,
Nice.
cool. So what other products and services do you supply through your company?
So we concentrate on embroidery. So we would have all the embroidery supplies such as backings and backing. We sell Madeira threads. We have backing. We have
like shears and all that.
Yes. Yeah. All the supplies that are related to it.
Thread, the bobbins, everything that you need to complete your job, so that you don't have to go to Joanne Fabrics or something, right?
Exactly. Needleys.
The donut, 3D Puff Pro, the donut patty, and buff away. Yeah, and soon hook wash.
Yes.
So there's all that. Do you carry foam?
Yes, we do. Yes.
Okay, cool. What else do you carry? Man, you carry it all.
We try to. Again, now with issues with supply chain is a big issue, but we try to carry as much as we can. Yes, we would also have the applique spray, the adhesive spray. Yeah, so
cool. So basically, let's see, what is your site? www.twiga.com?
No, www.twigaind.com.
Okay, see, I knew I was close. I was like, nope, it's Industries. Okay, hang on, it's going to fly up.
I got it.
Thank you. Okay,
there we go. TWIGAindustries.com. So you can go ahead and check that out.
Check them out. We have 8 minutes left in the show. So if anybody has any questions, this is the time.
Definitely, most definitely. So if you guys do have questions, how important do you feel it is to have a good relationship with the technician in your area?
Oh, very much. You have to have a good relationship. Absolutely. Yep. Because it is the trust. It's just like going with your car to a car mechanic. You have to have a good relationship, and you have to know that you are trustworthy. And I personally take pride in my honesty when I go to my customers. So that plays a very big part. So the customers will trust you when you go over there.
Yeah, I bet they bake you cookies, don't they?
Sometimes they do.
I know it. They send home baked goods. They send home jarred items, preserves. I know that they do it.
Yes.
Keep it for dinner.
So that happens too. Please stay over for dinner and go out.
I know they'll bring in lunch. They do all sorts of stuff. When you've got a good technician, you take care of that guy or gal or whoever, because that's your livelihood on their 2 feet. You got to do it.
So because I recently had it happened to me shortly, not very long ago, what is the biggest mess you've walked into where the person who owned the machine said, I can fix this, and then after they really messed it up, they called you to come in and actually fix it?
Yes, it has happened. So I would go to a customer, and as you know, with time, the tensions on machines get the wax built in between the tension discs. So periodically, once a year or 2 years or whatever, you must remove the tensions, clean the wax out, and redo the tension. So again, if it's a 6-head machine, I would offer the customer, I'll teach you on 1 head, and then you do the rest. And even if you stop 1 head per day, within 6 days, you will be done. So I teach them the one, and they said, okay, we will do the rest. One of my customers started to do that, got distracted, and did not put the whole thing back. Threads got wound on the shaft.
Oh dear. Yes. That'll bind a shaft right now.
So yeah, in spite of teaching and warning, but the distraction is what happens, right? They're distracted by something, and then
they hear a thread break sensor, they walk over there, and that's as far as they come back.
And there's the phone. What happened to all my thread? It was a 5,500 yard thread. Where's all my thread?
Yes.
I don't know.
So I'm going to grab a couple of comments here. We have Jaylene saying, hi, this has been interesting. I'm located in Arlington, Texas.
GSG is your local ZSK dealer. They're in Dallas.
We have Letty. I thought that was a prerequisite. I try to provide food, snacks, and drinks as a thank you. So
nice.
I think we're all going to Letty's house.
Yes, we are.
And we have Magman here. Alnoor is very, very trustworthy and a great help. I love my ZSK that I purchased from TWIGA.
Look at that. You can't get a better endorsement than that.
Thank you.
A personal, seriously, it's like word of mouth, either way it goes. If it's good news, it travels. If it's bad news, it travels. But I tell you, the good news, I've just heard so much good about how people enjoy dealing with you. And I don't say that for any reason, except it's actually fact. I wouldn't say it if it weren't true. And they're always like, oh, Alnoor, yeah, he's great. And I'm like, man, there isn't a person who doesn't feel that way after dealing with you. So you're doing something right up there. Just keep it up now. You're doing it great. Good job.
I mean, he's been doing it right for 40 years. Yeah. He wouldn't be in it this long if he wasn't doing it right.
No, isn't it? Yes.
Lucky you finally entered into the embroidery selling machines gig there.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God, look at this.
So Letty says I'll provide barbecue brisket, pork, other stuff if I have a heads up.
Alnoor's like, they're not even in my area. In fact, they're not even in my country. But let me know when that is going down. I'm in Ohio.
Yes.
Not my customer, not my area, but I'm coming.
So Mike Henry states, we started off with Alnoor as a tech, and now we are working turning green into blue.
Oh, yes. I know exactly what that means.
I caught that there in a second. I was like, that's the wrong color of money. But now I get it.
I thought that they meant machines were being traded in.
Letty says he's not too far from me. Ontario is doable, so maybe she'll come up and visit you. Right. And Magman says he was the reason I purchased my ZSK. A lot of positive comments that I heard about him before making my choice.
Oh, look at this. Here we go. We got a question from Rachel.
I'm on the extreme west coast of Canada, Vancouver Island. Do you have techs that work in this area?
That's Alnoor.
Yes, we can again. So because of COVID, we have not been able to travel. So my intention is once this situation is over, then I will be traveling to East and the West to be able to service. But if they have any questions, we have the technology that allows us to do that over the video. So if he has any questions, we will be able to help her out. Yes, absolutely.
That's great. You've got a tech finally up there. So I want to bring up a little comment by Cindy. We know Jerry Lee leaves snacks on her porch, so I have to wrap me out. So I took on the last day right before Christmas, because they weren't going to come around anymore. I took all the snacks and I put them in boxes, 2 boxes, and gave them to the 2 people who deliver all my UPS stuff, because they were like loading some stuff, man, right? So today they came up and they left a little something, and there was no snacks. There was just one little lonely set of footprints, and I didn't have anything out there. So I'm going to reinvent that, but I want to show you what they've delivered to me. This is just for fun. Jeff already knows, but I put these in now, either one or the other until I run out. But I have little things that I'm now putting in my orders. One is Yum Earth vegan organic fruit snacks, or the other one is little bottle of tahini, which is the best freaking spice on fruit and cukes and watermelon. I'm telling you, man, to die for. So yeah, anyway, that's my snacks for my customers now.
You can include that with the what you call the hook wash.
I'm going to include that. Actually, I am. When I send you hook wash, Alnoor, there's going to be some treats.
All right.
Okay. Hopefully customs. These are the 2 treats that are in stock right now. I don't know if you've ever had tahini. I'm trying to take over the world with my products and my tastes. Okay.
Nice.
And these are all natural, vegan, good, gluten-free. You know, they're good for you. So.
All right. We have Rachel saying, thank you. That's good to know. Before buying my next machine, I want to make sure that service is available. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cindy is hungry, and Letty agrees that tahini is awesome. You take that little bottle with you to the restaurant, lima beans going on the cob.
I did not know.
Everything.
You guys
I'm not sure if you want to talk about pricing over the web. I would just suggest that your best bet is to contact your local ZSK dealers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you Mr. Boycott? I know, I forget your real name. I know that
Fred.
Fred. Okay. Are you up in Canada?
I don't think he is, but he might be. So if you are, reach out to Alnoor. Alnoor, where can people come find you if they need to? Like, what's all your social media that they can come and reach out to your company if they want to get more information about you?
Or do you have like a Facebook page or something? Yes, you do.
Yes, we have a Facebook page. Yes, absolutely. And
yes.
would be or they can go on our website and they can send an inquiry to the website also,
which is www.twigaind.com.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, we did come up on our hour and we're actually a minute over. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this to a close. We're very, very thankful that you could come and spend the last hour with us, Alnoor. I learned a lot and it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you. No, it was fun for me too. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Awesome. And so with that, the things that are coming up here pretty soon are we have the ISS show in Long Beach that's coming up here in January. At the end of February will be the DAC show in Kansas City. And if you want to get a hold of Alnoor, you can email him at alnoor@twigaind.com, as well as go to www.twigaind.com or to this Facebook, TWIGA Industries, where you can reach out to him as well. If you are looking for a new machine or want to trade in a machine, Mike, when he gets the replay, you can go ahead and reach out to Alnoor and he'll make sure to take care of you. So
thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yep, we definitely appreciate your time, and we look forward to. I'm going to try and have you on again. This was a lot of fun. I'd like to go over a lot more technical things than we went over on the first one. So hopefully we can plan out another one where we can do kind of a deep dive into some of the technical stuff.
If you want, we can talk about the revolutions of the bobbin inside the bobbin case, because I'm writing some article on it, so we can talk about that. Absolutely, yes. That would be
Here,
fun.
hang on. I want to bring up this comment. It's under GSG. GSG is ZSK. They were there. They were like one of the biggest booths there. I promise. We were in that booth. So we were there. I promise they were there. Yep. So thank y'all. Great show. Oh, wait, that was not it. This was great. Great interview. Thank you. And GSG.
Yep.
That's it. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Well, with that, everybody, that is Jerry Lee Medeiros from Sunfacer Manufacturing. I am Jeff Fuller from Fuller Embroidery Works, and that is Alnoor Remtullah from TWIGA Industries. And we are all here with the Embroidery Nerd. We'd like to thank you for your time, and we will catch you guys next time.
Thank you.
Toodles.